Did Hollywood spend too much of Alec Baldwin's career casting him as the slick alpha male, or was it that he was simply better at it than anybody else? That's the question I found myself asking while rewatching Malice. Normally, I really don't gravitate towards these ultra confident, always the smartest guy in the room characters, but Baldwin keeps on pulling me in. He's really magnetic here, and it made me wonder whether that's because there's always something more going on underneath that confident outer shell. I knew I'd seen Malice back in the 90s, but I couldn't remember anything about it. I suspect it might have been one of those films I watched with mates, perhaps on a lazy Sunday afternoon when I wasn't really concentrating. Maybe it was a recovery film that I dozed off in or didn't have the mental capacity to take in. But whatever the reason, it was gone from the memory banks. And it's been mentioned a bit over the years, and I thought, oh yeah, whatever. Nothing much to see there. And it just came up on Amazon Prime recently, and I thought I'd head back to it. I have seen a few films with Alec Baldwin recently, so may as well add another one to the list. The plot in this one is that Bill Pullman and Nicole Kidman play a happily married young couple getting ready to start a family. Pullman works at a university, and there's a serial rapist and murderer targeting female students, some of which are his students, and that he has a close relationship with. Into their lives walks charismatic surgeon Dr. Jed Hill. That's the Alec Baldwin character. And Nicole Kidman's character has been developing quite severe abdominal pain and eventually requires surgery. And of course, it falls to Dr. Hill to perform that emergency surgery. And we find out at the time that she is a few months pregnant, or a few weeks, probably a few weeks pregnant, maybe. And she loses the baby. And the story kicks off in a much higher gear from that point on, and what begins as one mystery gradually becomes another mystery. And the beauty of this one is that the screenplay brings the two storylines together and they collide, and it's done quite well. This sort of film in 1993 was quite common. This was an era, I feel, when Hollywood still trusted audiences a lot more than they do now, to keep up with complex plots, and to at times even fill in the blanks, and even on rare occasions to deal with an ambiguous ending that the European movies do a lot more often. Adult thrillers like this were everywhere. Quite dialogue-driven now in comparison, again. Performance-driven. Built around mystery rather than spectacle. There are some great action scenes in this film, though. But there's no real CGI. It's before CGI really got going. And there's no endless action sequences with people, having superhuman strength to survive a 10-minute fight. For the most part, it's quite clever writing and actors that you enjoy spending time with, and that are very competent and well cast. Harold Becker directed this. Before Malice, he'd done films including The Onion Field, and more recently in '89, Sea of Love, the Pacino comeback film. He went on to do Mercury Rising, again with Baldwin in 1998, so he must have enjoyed working with Baldwin. Well, I hope he did. And watching Mercury Rising recently, and then this one, reminded me how understated Becker was as a director. Very of his time, doesn't try to overwhelm the audience with any style, really, just sticks to telling the story. Seems to really trust the actors, and quite disciplined. And the twists arrive naturally, and Becker never really tips his hand too much, which is good. Alec Baldwin. I feel this was Baldwin's time. It's his sweet spot. He'd perfected this persona by now. You know, we've got the slick back hair, that total confidence in himself, which suits this role. He even says he has a god complex. This character, when he gets challenged by in a legal setting for making the decision to remove Nicole Kidman's ovary because it's necrotic, which turns out to be an incorrect diagnosis and means she can never have children. So yeah, he says he has a god complex, and he's totally believable because Alec Baldwin always seems to have a god complex in most of his films, the ones that I can recall anyway. I never recall him being anything but ultra confident, the alpha, showing a lot of intelligence, usually using his voice well, modulating his voice, you know, pursing those lips, that penetrating stare. And this is what I said at the top. Normally, this is not a type of character I enjoy in life or in movies, but somehow something about the way Baldwin does it makes him fascinating, and for some reason I always think there's more to him than this, and that he is, sometimes it's just an act. Whereas with some other actors I could think of, I don't know if it's an act. I think that they actually believe the roles that they play. For him, maybe that's it. I think that he is just playing a role and doing it really well. He's exactly the sort of charismatic alpha male that Hollywood loved during this time. And the film really encourages you to suspect him as being involved in the murders as well. And yeah, it makes the eventual twists even more satisfying, I think. Nicole Kidman. Watching Nicole Kidman in this film was a bit of a revelation. And I think it was a really important film for her when I look at her films leading up to this. Dominated by her association with Tom Cruise, of course. Far and Away the year before didn't really land. I don't remember Days of Thunder fondly. I think I only saw it the once. Her role in that was weird. Her character, it just seemed like Tom Cruise decided she had to be in that film, and so they found a way to put her in there. This film for me, for Nicole Kidman, felt like the first reminder since Dead Calm in '89 that she was capable of a lot more than just being window dressing. Because her performance in this film has several distinct phases. She starts out as a pretty ordinary young wife, really. Like, by ordinary, I mean nothing crazy going on. Then she becomes a bit of a vulnerable patient with the ongoing abdominal pains. And then, of course, she's quite an angry victim. Understandably so. She's lost the ability to have children, which was important to her. But then the last phase, and the most interesting, is a manipulative schemer. I did watch closely for false notes. I couldn't really find any. I think it is one of her strongest early performances, and showed that performances like Eyes Wide Shut and many others were no flash in the pan, that she was capable of this from quite early in her career. I think it was a good choice to have her in this. Bill Pullman, he was really the ultimate everyman during this period of the 90s. If you wanted a decent sort of straight man, a nice guy, he would have been top of your list, I think. I think audiences instinctively trust him. You know, While You Were Sleeping, Independence Day, lots of others where he didn't seem to be doing a whole lot. He seems to be that kind of guy. Sort of reminds me a little of Harrison Ford's everyman qualities. It doesn't have the the knockout charisma that Harrison Ford does, but what he does really well. And in this one, he's constantly out of his depth, bumping into danger at all, trying to make sense of things. And I really empathized with him, and I think that was the value that he brought to these films, was because he's relatable, and you can project yourself into his situation and think, what would I do? He becomes like our eyes to the world that are the worlds that happen in these films. Lots of red herrings in this one. I thought it was very convincing, the way that this film misdirects your attention and makes lots of theories seem plausible, with the murders, what's going on at the university. Things fall into place quite well in a complex plot. The surgery, the sperm sample that Bill Pullman has to give. And every time I thought I'd solved it, the film quietly changed direction again. And I enjoyed watching how carefully the screenplay plants its clues. I thought it did it quite well. The scenes between Kidman and Baldwin after the surgery were really convincing, I thought. The resentment, the accusations, the apparent betrayal. And then the entire relationship changes again. And it's really Nicole Kidman's transformation that I enjoy. And I love that final cafe scene with Bill Pullman. She's become someone completely different, again, like a femme fatale. And I really enjoyed Pullman just pulling the rug out from underneath her. Very, very satisfying. I love it when characters like that get their just desserts. I think it is a date film. It's a thriller. It's not a horror film. There's lots of mystery and intrigue and sparks. Especially between Baldwin and Kidman. My God. They would have needed the fire department nearby to put out some of those sparks. I think it is a hangover film. It's quite slick and entertaining and glossy, and while the plot is a bit, you do need to pay attention. I think you can still enjoy it without being totally clued into everything. Lots of twists. Yeah, it is a way to re-enter our world. It also is it's a watch alone film. I think it works either as an afternoon watch or a night watch as well. But yeah, I think you can watch it alone and enjoy it. There's a lot of atmosphere and mystery. If you do want to concentrate on all the little clues and enjoy the ride, even if you think you know where it's heading, it probably works in that sense as well. So yeah, look, for what it is, I think it's good. It surprised me that it still works quite well. The screenplay really manipulates your assumptions effectively. The performances are all top-notch, well cast. It just reminded me again, I think, just how many intelligent adult thrillers Hollywood used to make during this time. And I think they should be viewed a little bit more fondly maybe than they were. Films that trusted dialogue and performances and above all, I guess, trusted the audience. Maybe that's something that's not relied on as much anymore. Anyway, that's Malice from 1993. An entertaining film. Check it out if you can. And thanks as always for listening. See you next time.